little black box, or you could call it a crate. A milk carton crate in terms of what stays up all night and leaves itself out as a container to be perhaps borrowed in tents where its nerves are concealment of its retention, where replaying times tends to replete of its imaginary dimension, its imaginary charge, so that the symbolic operates in direct tangent with its composite form, where signifier per signifier is the standing in of the place where signification and signification onto itself takes effect, so that the image where resounding principles were connected contained instead a virus to be spread of a bacterium that could perhaps ignite the fury of men, where stage moment, procedure, method, and theory commuted to create of its image in man the destitution that reoriented the schools, where its transmission of technique and method was residing in its attribution to the society in which its criterion in the percepients would elide its sense of fiction condensed in transductive elements, furies of U instead of Y, where the university would comply to the E of its Y errors, comedically entwined in its entertainment. Why instead of why should we conceive of language using of its phonetic interpretability of an IE replaced? Was this for the French language alone? And was it of the elision, the main course, where the menu is concerned, of the entire set to appreciate under one cover, sold and imprinted with the semblant of its youthful principalities, where taste and all of the other elements of sense would resign their grades to give towards this set a principal worth of particular accord, which as a set in amalgamation or in additive supplement, the one particular onto the next, its elemental totality that would compose its set. A game here could be played, and a comparative future gauged of what is not only seen, but of the seen, graded a worth of surplus in its servings only as graded futurity, mended from the absence of the objet it believes its imagination to see, without yearning in imaginative glory, what the pretending game could relieve. It's like a black box, it's made to resound in fiction so that the furies of its ignition could, instead of repleting man of his vital energy, create of its chain and contiguity, the composition made in its reside. What was a Badiouian to remote intelligence, where the subject's division in terms of its primordial set that constitute its first appearance and its last supplemental addition to its accord, a future where its range could be juxtaposed to its reality, so that its reality would have to presuppose its ascertaining within the set's range to compel its reason to ruse towards its commentary, where its understanding would be foreclosed but to the elements of its belief, where belief is maintained in a set theory that has emerged of its non-predictability, so that love is encore insisted upon as the emergence of an imaginary letter conducive towards an appreciation of its reality, where the real emerges from its symptoms, so that it could be borrowed as all letters contained in words emerge from the images that have gifted them the semblance of an ordinary reality by principle, positions here in principle remotely orient the study towards the positions of the unconscious. The text in which the study of the sharing unpacked shall contribute to continuance based on its set of signifiers in the chain, where desire is maintained and enforced merely by its proponent attributes along its course. Where could desire based in excess be maintained, where an excess guides its course to reason, where ruse is concerned, writing is reserved for the future of its burns inside the flaming origins, its dampening effect were to be seen at the top of the hills, where the fire at its base was relieved of its free roaming attribution to aggressive instincts, for trust here was inflamed with vigor to act out in example for what could be traced inside its contiguous fourier, as its symptomatique of its instance, where the furies yearned.